Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aisha and you're watching Samar News. Here are today's headlines. Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian says Tehran is ready to accept verification of its nuclear program to prove it is not seeking atomic weapons. Speaking in Tehran, he said Iran would not bow to what he called excessive Western demands, including over its missile program. The statement comes as talks with the United States continue amid deep mistrust on both sides. US President Donald Trump has hinted at deploying a second aircraft carrier to the Middle East as Washington and Tehran prepare to resume negotiations aimed at preventing a new conflict. Trump said he was considering the move despite ongoing diplomatic efforts. Talks between the United States and Iran were facilitated by Oman last week. Iran's foreign ministry said the discussions helped gauge Washington's seriousness and showed enough common ground for diplomacy to continue. US President Donald Trump is set to host Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House today. Netanyahu is expected to urge President Trump to expand US talks with Iran beyond its nuclear program, to include restrictions on Tehran's missile arsenal and other regional security concerns. The meeting will mark Netanyahu's seventh visit with Trump since the president returned to office nearly 13 months ago. The talks come ahead of the next round of US-Iran discussions, following nuclear negotiations held in Oman last week amid heightened tensions in the Middle East. Also, France says it will increase humanitarian visas for Iranians seeking asylum following Tehran's recent crackdown. Foreign Minister Jean-Noel Barrot said Paris aims to support opponents persecuted by the regime. He told Parliament that France would expand protections for those seeking refuge. Poland and Italy have decided not to be part of President Trump's proposed Board of Peace, citing legal and political concerns. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk told a government meeting that the decision was made after taking into account certain national doubts regarding the shape of the board. Giving his reason for not joining, Italian Foreign Minister Antonio Tajani said there was an insurmountable constitutional barrier on Italy's side. However, both governments say they remain open to cooperation if the framework changes. The Kremlin says Russia will seek clarification from the United States over new US restrictions on Venezuela's oil business, amid complaints the measures exclude Russian involvement. Russian officials, including Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, have described the US limits as discriminatory and are in talks with Washington over the issue. The US Treasury recently issued a general license to facilitate oil and gas exploration and production in Venezuela, but it does not authorize transactions involving Russian or Chinese nationals or entities. Moscow's outreach reflects broader tensions over energy and geopolitical influence in the region. At least 10 people, including the attacker, have been killed in one of Canada's deadliest mass shootings in recent history.
6 victims were found inside Tumbler Ridge Secondary School in British Columbia, 2 at a nearby residence, and another died en route to hospital. The suspected shooter, described as a female wearing a dress, was found dead at the school from an apparent self-inflicted injury. Police said there are no other suspects or ongoing threats. At least 2 others were hospitalized with life-threatening injuries, while up to 25 received treatment for non-life-threatening wounds. Officials confirmed counseling would be offered to students and the community. Colombian President Gustavo Petro narrowly escaped an assassination plot while flying with his daughters, officials said. His helicopter was unable to land as planned due to threats from drug traffickers, forcing the aircraft to remain over open waters before safely reaching an alternate location with naval support. Petro, who has faced repeated threats since taking office in August 2022, remains on permanent alert amid rising violence ahead of presidential elections. The assassination attempt coincided with the kidnapping of Senator Ada Quilquio in Coca. She and her bodyguards were safely released.
That's all for now. For more updates, visit www.samar.tv. Thank you for watching Samar News.